getting frosty for Seoul. There's also the map, and to the bottom right we have the man who actually turned things south for Seoul. We have Symbol here, who took 2 opponents out already. Will he defeat the last Protoss player of the team? Once again, it is
AZUBU Symbol.
This map has a lack of frost for being called frost. There's a little bit of snow, but if you look at the mini-map, you can see it's kind of frostless.
Top left, we have the Protoss player. It is, of course,
Soul Trap.
Do you guys have Frosty the Snowman in Germany, where they put the magic hat on and he starts talking and he says happy birthday?
Well, I know of him, but no, we don't.
Okay.
Not that I know of at least.
I remember that was always like one of the craziest things when I was a kid. I was like, why does he say happy birthday when they put the hat on him? I mean, of all things he could say is happy birthday.
I wouldn't know.
I just remember as a kid being like, I don't get it. But I mean, I guess he was just born. He can talk. It's his birthday.
You know what I would like to have? In case, let's just think about it, what happens if Symbol wins this. I would like to have an interview with Deer. I was like, what exactly went through your mind? I mean, there must have been something else. He wins the fight, takes down the third, but you don't just go for 4 Nexi in this game without having the idea that you have definitely won it. So he must have scouted something or missed something that led him to believe that there is no way that he's going to win this game. Because the only thing that he had to do against Symbol was sit tight on 4 bases. Symbol could have never attacked into him. Yep. Like, Symbol was okay, like, if he overextends himself, but attacking into the Protoss, into the choke point, against potential Storm and Colossus, something they could have never done. But right now, this is such a dire situation for Trap, and Symbol, he might be the downfall of the team, and he was so close of being eliminated himself.
Yeah. Well, it's cross spawns, so that's really good for Symbol. And Trap doesn't even know it yet. Actually, yes, he does. My bad. He did send a probe out. Fast third base here has not been scouted. Doesn't see that. And he's actually checking the wrong third base location. He's going to, of course, go back and check the other one just to be safe.
Yeah, it's definitely going to do that. He's going to find out what's happening here. We'll see that third base. Let's see how he's going to play this. I mean, Trap is a really good player in this matchup. He has a sick record against Zerg players, so he is a player that you want to have in your roster when you face strong Zerg players like Symbol. And just to put that into numbers, he played 26 maps offline against Zerg, and that's Korean Zergs, all of them. And he won 19 on them, leaves him with a 73% win ratio. And he just recently lost a couple of those matches, actually in the GSTL against players like Lucky and Light. And he won against Curious, against Yu-Gi-Oh!, Kangho, Zero, Revival, Check. So very strong stats here for him. But at the same time, the recent 2 matches in the GSTL when he went up against Zerg, he lost them. So Team League, once again, as we said earlier, seems to be where Seoul struggles.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to prepare for a specific player, and that's what these guys on Seoul are known for. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to not be able to prepare for a specific player when that's what you're used to doing. And Stargate goes up here actually, and if we see some Oracles here, I'm going to be just thinking somebody in Seoul is thinking that this is the new thing, but I don't know how effective it's really going to be. But to be honest, I'm kind of expecting it because that's what we've seen already from the other 2 Colossus today.
But on this map,
it's not the best one for it, that's for sure. Well, even Stargate in general not going to be extremely effective here, except defensively, which we could see Void Ray come out and try to take fast third.
Maybe with the cross position of all things, and we're actually going into a Phoenix here, which I like a lot more than him actually just going straight into a build where he starts with the Oracle that we've seen earlier. But I'm more excited about what Symbol is going to do. I want to see what his idea is. I mean, on the 3 bases that he has, he's going to feel very, very confident in actually taking this, as long as he can secure it. And he has Zerglings everywhere and also Overlords. The one danger that you always have is that you miss one of the probes, and you have the Pylon and there's a warp in point for the Protoss. Suddenly a force that you never expected to move against you is walking into your third base. But Symbol sees the Nexus of Trap, so he knows already, alright, we're going for a 7-minute Nexus at your third, and knows that he has to either attack or take his own third base. And given the match that we saw against Dia, I would say we're going to see a very similar game to what he did there.
Yeah, I think so. If you're a Zerg player, you never want to let the Protoss to get a base this easily, but on this map at these positions, it's really tough to actually pressure this. And I'm curious to see, like you said, what is Symbol going to do to react? I think he's just going to play a late game. That's what he's good at. Maybe we even see Vipers again as the core unit for him to deal with the needs.
I would expect him definitely to play a very similar game to the one that we saw on Hyundai. It's of course a very different map, 2-player versus 4-player, a massive map against a rather smaller one. But in this scenario, it's the best thing that he can do. Just because it is a big map, getting that 4th base will be something that he can accomplish. And he's already going into the Hydralisks right now. So that's something that he wants to do. Doesn't go for the double upgrades that we've seen him use earlier. Those Phoenixes, of course, still being a bit of a nuisance here. But we have sport crawlers for Symbol everywhere. But I really like the control that we see of the traps here with his units, especially with the Phoenixes, of course. Snapping another overload of all. So,
yeah,
well done.
He's not careless like some of the players we've seen with their Phoenixes, just kind of throwing them around willy-nilly. As you can see here, 2 overlords still, 7 drones. There's 1 Phoenix missed. Bit of a miscontrol there. I think he accidentally lifted with that one, because when you just have all of them selected, you don't pick which ones lifts, so he couldn't run it away.
The 4th base is going up, and we have also immediately the infestation pit, so that already hints that Symbol wants to go for the faster hive tech that we've seen him use in the game against Dion Hyundai. So, pretty decent opening for him, and oh my god, that is a huge oversight here by Trap. Wow, taking 2 losses here at the Phoenix count. That was not what he was supposed to do there. Didn't see that on the minimap, was probably macroing his main base, neglecting the Phoenixes for a second, and the Hydralisks, they say X.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, they probably enjoyed that. That's like the best feeling that you have when those Phoenixes were just annoying you the entire time, taking down your overlords, killing like drones, you have to micro, you get sport crawlers up. And then usually when you have your Hydralisks out, the Phoenixes just retreat, you don't even get a single kill. And then you do see them hovering there, and suddenly the Hydralisks pop out and you're like, oh god, he doesn't see it, and you just move below them and then getting kills. Symbol must be pretty happy.
I can't imagine what it's like to be a Phoenix pilot in this situation. Hey, don't you see? Hey, can you tell us to move? Because we can't move on our own. But I mean, they're shooting at us. I'm moving a little bit here, but you told me to stay here. I'm going to stay here until you tell me otherwise. You see those Hydras, right? Hey, Trap.
Yeah, Trap didn't see. But what he sees is the hive tech, and he knows now very well that his opponent is most likely going into the Viper build. Keep in mind that Trap, of course, watched that game between Symbol and Dion. So he must identify by now that this is exactly the same build that Symbol used earlier, and you can already see him make small adjustments. He doesn't go straight into a build that revives around Templars. No, he goes into the Colossi first and actually commits to them by getting the upgrade for range. And then on his 3 bases, with the economy that he has, later on he's going into the Twilight, the Templar card that we see now in the production tab.
And after that, I do not think we're going to see the forward photon overcharge late game. It just did not really pan out for him. He couldn't get those Nexus up to use that. But Pylon's going up everywhere here actually means that he will be able to spot any bases and also go for run-bys here. 4 Vipers on the way at a time. That's a massive commitment to gas.
Yeah, the problem that we also have is that if Trap attacks now, he's going to get demolished. And he doesn't do okay. He has the pylons on the map and he keeps them there. That's from the tactical point of view really smart. But a commitment here would have definitely not served him well. For a second I was really a little bit scared he was trying to do it. But
yeah, the attack here from Symbol on the other hand is actually looking really strong, really scary. He's up 26 army supply here. And the tech is good. I don't know what these sentries are going to do besides maybe kill a tech structure with a force field here.
I don't understand. No. Doesn't matter. The attack is what we should focus on right now, and the Yanks that are incoming, if we don't have the feedback outside of range, just by a small margin, but it's enough.
I mean, perfect control here by Symbol, grabbing that Colossus.
High ground vision thanks to the Overseer.
Even sniping the Templar with his Hydras when he can. He's ignoring those sentries. He doesn't care.
Well, Symbol is actually doing a lot of damage here, but he should leave a few units behind at that warp to make sure that his main base is not going to be attacked. And the second round of warp-ins is not what he wants. Symbol needs to be careful here. He brought Spore Crawlers!
He brought Spore Crawlers for the
energy. How awesome is that? I love it.
But these Zealots are actually, the number of Zealots we have on the main base here is getting to be a little bit unreasonable.
Symbol just wants to kill him. Symbol wants to kill him. He's moving in and he's doing damage, but does he have enough? I actually don't think so.
Yeah, he's hesitant to engage, and then he attacked the Nexus for a moment there. He's losing way too much on the main base here. Finally, enough roaches to clean this up.
I think he underestimated the threat in the main base a little bit and thought he could do more damage to the top left, and then when the second round of Warplanes came in, that was a problem. I love the move with the Sport Crawlers here. That was really well done. But unfortunate for Symbol, he doesn't really come into play. These Overlords have no business in the middle of the map.
Yeah, this hatchery has no business here, according to these Zealots. Telling him to leave, and
Symbol is falling
a bit apart for sure. Four Zealots get away.
Still ahead in supply, and he's not like in the most horrible spot, but down a base right now, 4th base for the Protoss.
Yeah, he didn't
like,
kill the base.
It's not like Trap has won that game yet, but Trap finds himself suddenly in a very good position.
Getting +3, the 4th Nexus. His tech units are still decent. Nice little sentry box here. I can't see how many sentries underneath those Overlords to hide. Yeah, Zealots won't be cleaned up here, but just doing a little bit more damage, being a little bit more annoying.
Symbol is going across the map right now with his army once again. He wants to shut down that 4th base, and he will be able to do that. There has to be a cancel. Nothing else makes sense.
He may actually bait out an engagement and use these Vipers to grab some Colossi, and that could be good for him. He might even be able to get one of those Archons. Anything grabbed here that's expensive is worth it.
Trap with really good defense so far, but he can't secure this 4th Nexus. That's something that he just can't do.
And the Ultra's Cavern is done. And he's got a decent transition available to him here.
Symbol also has triple upgrades going for him. Yeah. And one of those is the +3 attack upgrade for ranged. So that is definitely something that's going to be important here a little bit later down the road. The Storm is coming into the picture for the Protoss player, but this is intense, and ooh, Trap needs to be careful with the Mothership Coil. The Time Warp saves it for now.
Yeah, and actually could have even caused a bit of a disaster with that Time Warp, but good control by Symbol. The Ultras transition is one that I like, but the Ultras are not very well upgraded, and if they are spotted, it's going to be super easy for Trap to react and get more Archons, start adding Immortals in. He's got already a decent Blink Stalker force. He's got about 20.
You know, if you compare this game to the match that Symbol played against Dia, the one thing that is really transparent is that Trap is getting away with that Warp Prism. Symbol, with the defense that he had, was much more successful against Dia in the game on Heon there than he was against Trap on this map. Yeah. So suddenly the Protoss player is able to just put so much pressure onto the Zerg player that allows him to get this 4th base up here. And on a map where it's a massive map that usually works in favor to a Zerg player to a certain extent, but right now what we have here with the 5th base going up, the tech transition into Ultralisks, and Symbol getting triple upgrades, Trap is a little bit on a clock, even though he had a really good fight with that Warp Prism.
Yeah. Oh, the Ultras hero on the edge, getting caught. One Ultras goes down for free, a nice feedback on the Viper. I don't like this position for Symbol here.
He did not expect the units to come in from that angle. He was completely flanked there, and that was definitely unfortunate. The base to the bottom left also being spotted. I love how Trap is sending units across the map to make sure that he spots those bases. He wants, of course, to have another force that runs into that 4th right now. Symbol has to be careful. He's putting up those Spine Crawlers a little bit too late.
Yeah. And, he's got to go up there and kill the Stalkers. He's actually just standing there. The Colossus, on the other hand, they're going to take some damage here, not going to be killed.
Well, yeah, the Stalkers almost likely going to save him, but that was a little bit too close to comfort. Nice Blink Micro there as well, immediately dodging those Ultralisks on the high ground and going to town against the few of the Hydralisks, getting the value for his Stalkers. But at the same time, we have now the Roaches trying to dance against the Zealots, but there are a few too many.
They're just going blow for blow here. This attack by Trap may be successful.
I just think that Symbol might not have the sustainability that he needs.
Yeah, I mean, he's way up in army supply, but the composition is a problem. Especially if he keeps giving away these donations.
He's 4 bases against 4, and the army of the Protoss player is just getting a lot better. The charge upgrade has been missing, but he's getting this right now.
I mean,
so
if it's
iffy.
If it's past 20 minutes and you're making 32, certainly something has gone wrong.
Well, here we go again. Maybe now the conquer that he needs against the Protoss, but the Storms are good, and there's not a whole lot against those Colossi. Here we go. The Vipers are trying to close the distance, and this time it's time for the Yanks, and he's getting them in. The first one is good, but where are the rest?
Where are the rest of his army? You know, Colossi just eat Zerg armies for breakfast. You don't have any answer for them.
But Ultralisks, on the other hand, are doing a really decent job at taking down Colossi. And now suddenly we have both of them at the same army supply. Once again, the Colossi on the map are not protected by anything anymore.
Certainly is to the south, dealing with that Stalker force, but he's making more Ultralisks, and there are so many Immortals on the way. There's a few in the army composition, and still, he doesn't really have any answer for those Colossi. I think that I don't know how well Ultras are really going to hold up anymore. A Queen is chasing a Colossus. That is weird.
And there are not too many Immortals. Ultras actually are not necessarily a bad choice. The problem for him is that he's currently falling behind in income, and he's falling also behind in in army size in general. They're still on the same amount of units, but with the Ultras he needs something to also like support them, and that's what the Zerglings are going to be for. But he has lesser income than his opponent.
Yeah.
And that in the long run is going to matter.
It definitely is.
Especially, does he have, I think he has a macro edge, right? Because if he's trying to get a little bit more Zerglings in the picture, he really needs to have a lava count now.
And he's making Banelings, which, you know, I can kind of see why, but I don't know how well it's going to work for him. These lings should be able to pick up Stalkers. He made a mistake of not leaving anything on the high ground there.
The thing is, you need a meat shield to actually protect those Colossi. And if the Banelings run in and do a little bit of reverse damage, the rest is going to fall quite soon. And here we go, and the Ultralists are actually like an overwhelming number. And those Colossi have no business there at the front. We do not have Queens for Transfuse, and that's another problem that he has here. With Queens, it would be a different fight. But right now, he's dropping in army supply. Both of them actually, once again, at the same level. He just does barely not have enough here.
Yeah, barely not enough. And the split on the Colossi was beautiful. And now this is the beginning of the end for Symbol, because all he has to do is kite against the Ultralists. Way too much damage output here. GG!
You know, a little bit of Queen support would have made such a huge difference here if he would have been in a position where he could use his entire army. But with the micro and the unit control that he had there for Trap, he was just playing the better game, and also had the better income and therefore the better sustainability and production in the end.
Yeah. And Deer not looking too, not too satisfied just yet. He wants a few more points because he knows he's the last man standing, and he's got still several players to go through. Symbol's game just looked a little bit rough. Some of the engagements he took, especially that engagement at the third base where he couldn't get a whole lot done, that was almost like the beginning of his lack of momentum. Once that happened, he couldn't really control the game anymore. He was always having to run back, and the Zealots in the main during all of that just did so much damage and really affected his position in the game.
Trap just showcased why he is such a strong player in this matchup, but I completely think that a lot of this came down to the early game with the Warp Prism, as you already pointed out, where he just had a massive problem dealing with this. He thought that he could do more damage with his attack at the top left, and then kind of neglected the Warp Prism for a little bit. Not because he didn't see it, but because he thought, well, if I attack you right now, you have to focus on that. You will not have the resources to move in another round of Warp-ins to the bottom right. But that's exactly what Trap did. And Trap then did a lot of damage in the process. Was then later on able to snipe that fourth base. So I feel all these things just kind of snowballed a little bit out of Symbol's control. He wanted to be the one with, once again, a massive bank, and in a good one. But he was never in the position that he was up against Deer.
Deer's control so good in, Trap's control so good in that last game as well. The Colossi splits against those Ultras. Yeah, he didn't have transfuses, and he didn't have the overwhelming amount of Ultras. He had a lot, maybe 2 or 3 more to turn the tide of battle, but if it weren't for those splits on the Colossi, I think he would have actually won, or not won that fight, but he wouldn't have lost it. They would have traded okay, and then he would have been able to reinforce, and things would have been very different. But the splitting, I mean, he's moving 6 Colossi at once in different directions away from the Ultras. Really, really well done.
They did a pretty good job there. But right now, we're going into the next game. It is Patience. It's going to be the next player that we have here.
Yeah. And Protoss versus Protoss, totally different matchup entirely from what we've seen so far all afternoon, or all night, I should say.
Saving Supernova for last, I guess. Let's see what Patience can do in this game now. PvP is going to be the next match that Trap has to play. And we, of course, have another 5-minute break, and as soon as we are back, guys, we're going into our PvP here. And if Trap is able to win this, AZUBU will have to bring out the ace. So see you guys in a few here at the GSTL.